Good afternoon. Well, I've already sent you a page, uh, a PDF copy of a letter written by the father of advertising, David Ogilvy. Now, you might say, so why are you so obsessed with this man? Because he was an advertising genius, and it is something we can learn from him at every point of time. He is a role model in the advertising industry. All the successful advertisers or the advertising people, they worship him as God. So we need to get into the habit of trying to follow some of his sayings. Now, this particular letter has a very interesting side of this gentleman. If you read the few points that are there in the letter, which is very significant. Now he starts with a very humble kind of a statement. Said, "I have never written an advertisement in the office. Too many interruptions. I do all my writing at home." Meaning he needs concentration. He needs total absorption in his copywriting, in his creative work. He was definitely a man who is from the creative department, but he built the empire, the advertising empire. So he was, as I have given you some of his statements also, he was very much, uh, you can say, an admirer, or he was always a businessman, or treated advertising as a business. That was very important streak of him, and we can't ignore his statements on this. But he was also, in this letter, for example, shows the difficulty and the kind of time or the patience that he has to put in the creative department. That becomes very clear. Then come to the the point here, 7.2. I spent a long time studying the precedents. I look at every advertisement which has appeared for competing products during the past 20 years. So you can see that when you are creating an advertising copy, you have to have to do a little bit of research, look into the precedents, look into the competitors before you write your own copy. It's not just copying from another copy, which usually we do. I mean, it's just you'll have to study the competitors and do something unique. So, second point is also very important. I'm helpless without research material. That's the third point, and the more motivational, the better. That is very important. I write out a definition of the problem and statement of the purpose which I wish the campaign to achieve. Then I go no further until the statement and its principles have been accepted by the client. So once he has done a little bit about the copy, the first draft, he discusses it with the client. Then, before actually writing the copy, I write down every conceivable fact and selling idea. Then I get them organized and relate them to research and the copy platform. See the importance of research in him and in writing a copy statement. Then I write the headline. He starts with the headline. As a matter of fact, I try to write 20 alternative headlines for every advertisement. See, remember, you seem to think that once or twice is okay for you. I mean, you see the number of times that one has to put in, or the effort that has to give. 1, 2, 3, 4. He says 20 times, at least 20 times, I write a headline or a caption for his copy. I never select the final headline without asking the opinion of other people in the agency. So I told you in the last class that advertising is a teamwork. In some cases, I seek the help of the research department and get them do a split run on a battery of headlines, meaning so many headlines that I will have to go through before I finalize. So you see, then at that point, I no longer postpone, because I actually, the actual copy, I will have to go into it and get bad tempered. If my wife comes into the room, I growl at her. I mean, that's a sign of a creative person. Or when he's totally into absorbed in his work, he doesn't allow or anyone near him. So I'm terrified of producing a lousy advertisement. This causes me to throw away the first 20 attempts. Remember, you never know how many copies one writes for the advertisement. 20 copies is the minimum, he says. I mean, he never, goes into or accepts a copy which he has not written at least 20 times. So this is very important. I mean, the effort that you have to give in writing a copy. I mean, I've been seeing many of your copies that you have done, and any suggestions from your teachers, Shubhajyoti sir or Arnab sir, you seem to be challenging their opinion after one or two attempts. You see, a man who was a genius, who was the father of advertising, he himself, when he wrote a copy or made an advertisement copy, he at least wrote it 20 times, and then started thinking whether he has at least come to some kind of a acceptance of that particular copy. Now, I stop here. You read that the other part also. I mean, it's almost the same thing. I wanted to tell you that the first part is the amount of effort that one has to put in to write a copy, and how that copywriting is related to the creative department, is related to the research department, and then to the client and the client service person, meaning it works as a team. The advertising agency works as a team. Don't think that as a creative person, you are the only person in the organization. You have so many other people working there, and all the people have a relevance to the copy you write. So this team spirit is also very clear from Ogilvy's letter here. Now, what I need to do is, I will not proceed anymore on this particular statement. You just read this copy, and if you have questions, ask me. What I will do is, I will ask you, because I have already discussed, how the advertising agency works as a team and how it develops its strategy. That's very important, the advertising strategy. This I have discussed with Group A in the last class. So I would also forward that particular, video of Group A, on which I have given it to Group A, this advertising strategy. Study it very carefully, how advertising agency works as a team. That is very important. And this particular video and the advertising strategy video, which I'm also forwarding to you, both of them study. And if you have questions, come back to me. Okay?